What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is Cherish Today, Season 2, Episode 2. I know I'm behind, baby. We're going to get caught up. So, we start this episode off. We see Ellis dropping his kids off to his ex-wife. It is her week. His oldest daughter wants to hang out with him. She wants him to come and watch the game with her. And he tells her, listen, you know it's your mom's week. You know I can't do that. And he's dressed for work, so his ex-wife comes over and she's talking to him about dropping the car off, and they're trying to figure out when he's going to take the car in for servicing. And then what I'm thinking in my mind is, you got a whole husband. Like, the story we learned last week was that you cheated on him with this man. You left him for this man. So let him take the car in for to be serviced. I don't care. I was just trying to figure out why that's what was happening. Like, why y'all sitting here having a whole conversation about your ex-husband taking your car in for servicing when you got a whole husband? But okay, whatever, child. Then she calls him out because she said, what you got going on today? And he said, well, I have to work. And she said, well, you got on this cologne, and I know you got on cologne. Yeah, right, you going to work. So she giving him the side eye about him really going to work when, I guess she like, I know you, bruh. I know you. I know that. I know what that cologne mean. I know what that cologne do, honey. So he ends up going over to Sunday's house to finish up this bathroom. Now, Daddy is in a better mood, and he sort of apologizes for the way he acts. He said, sometimes I just have these moments, and I just get confused, and I get turned around, and he says, and she says, basically they kind of come to a truce, so to speak. I guess it's the cousin comes through. She's also his caretaker. And she lets Sunday know, listen, you are doing too much. Like, it's nothing wrong with your father. He's just forgetful. He's older, and he just forgets things from time to time. But there's nothing wrong with him. He ain't, nobody is saying the word Alzheimer's or anything like that. But certainly that's what Sunday's thinking. And certainly the cousin knows that that's what Sunday's thinking. And she's telling her, girl, don't worry about it. Like, that's not what's going on with Daddy. He good. Or with your father. So Ellis, comes knocking at the door. And Daddy instantly sort of gets an attitude again, it seems like. He was like, I don't care if you ever fix that bathroom. And so, Ellis pulls the reverse psychology on him and lets him know that, your wife took very good care of this house. And, she would feel some kind of way if she had that bathroom sitting there looking the way it looked right now. Like, you need to let me finish it up because she loved this house too much for that bathroom to look like that, And he was like, you right. Go ahead and fix the bathroom. Now, the other thing that's going on is Sunday is getting ready to take a trip down to the country to go see her grandmother and convince her grandmother to let her have her recipe box. Now, y'all know how we are in the family, that the grandmamas always have the best recipes. And generally speaking, they don't even need the recipes. They know how to make it. They done made this stuff so many times. They know what to add, what not to add, how to add it, and all that other stuff. But Sunday is like, I know how to make her items, but I need that extra I need to know what those secret ingredients are. Like, I need to make it like hers. And her father's like, good luck. She ain't trying to give you that recipe box. And she was like, but I just, she'll tell me. Like, I just need it. So she ends up convincing Ellis to ride with her down to visit the grandmother. Come to find out, this is something, again, when they were dating, this is something that they would do, that they would ride down to go visit her grandmother, and grandmama knows him, and it's a whole thing. And so, he was like, I literally just convinced your daddy to let me finish this bathroom, and now you trying to make me, whisk me away. And she was like, my daddy loves you. It ain't gonna be a problem if you do it tomorrow. Come on and ride with me. So, of course, he agrees. So, they basically set off on a day of adventure. So, first, they stop at their little spot. I guess it's their little normal spot to get some breakfast. Then in the car, she plays DJ. She's like, let me DJ while you driving. And everything she puts on, he was like, nah, I don't want that. Nah, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Until finally, she gets to All My Life by Casey and JoJo. And she was like, you remember this song? And he was like, I'm not sure. And he was like, of course I remember. That's our song. So, of course, they have a little moment, a little reminisce, on the love we had kind of moment. So then she gets a phone call. Come to find out, her liquor order is messed up at the restaurant. They've got a big party coming in. And so literally she has to get on the phone. She said, I got to call in some favors. And we see a boss, right? We immediately see her go into business owner mode. She is on the phone. She is wheeling and dealing. She is asking for favors. She's, well, can I get a pallet of this? And can I get this? And can I get that? Like, you know, and he's looking at her. And you can see the way he's looking at her like, yeah, like, okay. Like, I could, okay. You know, like he's impressed. You know, he gets to see that other side of her, the business the business woman side of her. So he says, listen, you know, are you in a rush? And she was like, nah, I got time. He said, okay, I want to show you something. So he ends up taking her past, it's like an old, like an abandoned house or what have you. Looks like it was once upon a time a beautiful home. And he tells her, this is my passion project. And he takes her inside and he's showing her all the things he's doing. Come to find out that the house belonged to an old jazz musician friend of his father's. I think his father was a jazz musician. And the widow was struggling to pay the taxes. And so basically he made a deal. Like he would help her save the house. He would fix it up and then they would split it. They would, you know, they would sell it and split the profit. And he lets her know, listen, I got a contractor's license and I'm basically doing most of this by myself. He said, but it makes me feel good. You know, it gives me something to do and it really makes me feel good. So then she starts talking about, oh, you know, I have a friend that needs a plumber and I have so-and-so and I can refer so-and-so. And he was like, yeah, I'm good. I don't really need you to do that. And she was like, what? He was like, I don't need you to try to save me. He was like, I'm good. Like, I appreciate it, but I really don't need you to try to save me. And she was like, well, what do you mean? Like, I was just trying to help you out. I was just referring some business. He was like, I understand that. He said, but that's what you always did when we were younger. Like, you know, he was like, what did you do? Remember on senior night when I didn't have anything to wear? What did you, and I wasn't going to go to senior night. You went out and you bought me slacks and some shoes. And she was like, well, you liked it. You appreciated it. He was like, oh yeah, I wore them shoes to the soles fell off. But I don't need you to save me anymore. Like, I don't need you to do that. He was like, listen, when I told you I was a plumber, be honest, what did you think? And she was like, And he was like, exactly. She said, no, but understand something. The last time I saw you, you were the man. You were the man on campus. You were headed to the NBA. We weren't in touch. I didn't know what happened to you. And I meet you and you're a plumber. She was like, it's nothing wrong with being a plumber. It's just the last time I saw you, your life was not going in that direction. And so once again, he explains how, and he told her, he said, listen, I'm good. Like I'm good. I don't really need you to do that. So I feel like that was a good conversation that they had, you know, clear the air about that a little bit or whatever. Because what we're seeing is that they're having the hard conversations in doses. You know, they're telling everybody what happened and they're getting themselves caught up on, you know, what went wrong and see where this goes with us rekindling our friendship, maybe more than a friendship. So they get back on the road and they're riding to her grandmother's house and his daughter calls. Now, here's the thing. His daughter calls and she wants him to come and watch the game with her. And he gives her this whole excuse about how he has a job to do and he's got another job to do and he's going to be really busy. And my thing is, just tell her the truth. You already told her no because it's her mother's week and you know that's not a good idea. Just reiterate that. Say, listen, it's your mother's week. You know I can't do that. Like, I can't disrespect your mother's time. Like, that's all he had to say. But neither here nor there. He made it, in my opinion. And so now Sunday is side-eyeing him because she's like, well, what is up with the lie? Like, why would you lie to her? And he was like, listen, she's 15 years old. She'll be all right. Like, she don't really need all the details of what I got going on. And a part of me agrees with that. But again, in that situation, you just didn't need to lie. Like, the truth in that situation was way better than any story you could tell. But okay. And of course, you see Sunday kind of feeling some kind of way about it. And she's processing that. Like, why is he lying about where he is, what he's doing, who he's with? And lying to his daughter, of course, never a good idea. Well, I ain't going to say never, because sometimes you need to lie to kids. So I ain't going to say never. But you know what I'm saying. So they finally get to Grandma's house, and she's happy to see Ellis. And, you know, she's like, so what's going on with that? Like, are y'all getting back together? And she's like, we friends. We just ran into each other. And so she's in the kitchen and cooking and stuff, and they're talking, and she's asking, again, she's asking grandma, why don't you let me get this recipe box up off of you? Like, maybe I should. And so she like, girl, chill out. Just relax. I'm cooking. We got some people coming through. You be all right. And so they start talking about some of the recipes and stuff. And grandma starts, like, she throws in one of the special ingredients that she uses. And she was like, what? That's what you put in that? That's what I've been missing all this time, And so it's again, you just see them working together. You see them cooking. You see them in the kitchen, grandma's hands kind of situation. And she said, you look more and more like your mother, every time I see you. And so this is the grandmama on the mother's side, which we kind of already figured that out when she asked her father if he wanted to go. And he was like, yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah, you kind of got the impression that won't his mama. So she ends up having a conversation with him while they outside getting the secret ingredient. And tells him, listen, I don't want to feel like I'm coming between you and your daughters. Like, I don't like that. And he was like, you're not. Like, what we're trying to build or do or whatever it is, like, that's not interfering with what I have going on with my kids, So later on in the day, looks like the family comes over, the cousins who, of course, they all knew about them when they were a couple and stuff. And they all kind of reminiscing with them and everything. And they get to talking to him about his basketball career. And they're like, what happened? Man, like, what really happened? Like, I know we heard, they talk about all these rumors that they heard. But, of course, he doesn't want to get into, I, blew my knee out and then I became a drug addict, And so she kind of interjects and says, listen, I've got some news, And she tells him that her restaurant is getting ready to be profiled. They're getting ready to be on this like big cooking show. And so of course everybody's happy about it. And that sort of changes the conversation. It changes the focus of what's going on. Then we see her talking to her great aunt and her aunt. And her aunt gives her a little bit of family history. And she lets her know that you're related, to some white folk. We can trace our family history back to when we were slaves and who owned us. And your great-great-grandfather was actually your slave owner. We know that story, child. And this is some information that she didn't have before, right? And so she decides that, she got to go take a picture of the grave and get the information of this guy that she just found out was her, great-great-grandfather or what have you. So at the end of the night, they all getting ready to leave. And guess what? Grandma gives her the recipe box, honey. Grandma gives her the recipe box. She says it's time. She said, listen, I ain't going to be here much longer. So it's time for me to pass this on to the next generation. So, of course, that was cool. So on the way back, she finds the gravestone, child. They right up under a Confederate flag. And he is scared as hell. He's like, if you don't hurry up, you got to take a picture now. Like, that's what we doing now. But she takes a picture to get the information. And they ended up heading home. And they get home and they get the kissing. And just as, Sunday trying to rub and grind a little bit, he holds her hand and kind of pushes her off. And so she's looking at him like, what the hell is that about? And he said, listen, I just, I'm just like, maybe, not, like basically I ain't ready for all of this. So she gets upset, And, I forgot. They stopped at a club on the way and they was bumping and grinding on the dance floor. They was just having a whole moment. So she was like, what was all that back at the club? Like, that's how because he was like, can we just be friends? And she was like, hell no, I got enough friends. Like, no, I don't want to be your friend. And she said, what's up with that? The way we was dancing on the dance floor, that's not how friends dance. She was like, you know what? I don't even have time for this. Like, you do what you do and I'm out, And that is pretty much where the episode ends. So, not really sure. I don't know if his hesitation is, he's afraid to go down that road. Not really sure. I'm sure we're going to find out, child. It's only episode 2. I am behind, but we're going to get caught up. Okay? Okay. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.